Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back on this week's episode of Unfiltered Podcast. I'm back here with Ben, and we have more questions for one another.
Welcome back, friends. Good to be back with you all. Good to be back for another round of madness with Mr. Latini. So we're going to start the fire. Every episode, we start off with our fire round of questions.
Mhm.
It's some quick hit yes or no questions that we hit one another with that we have not been, we've not heard yet. We've not rehearsed these. So these are unexpected, unfiltered yes or no questions. And as we go into the show, we'll go into more detail on each of these. So with that, please join along with us. Give us your answers as well as you watch and listen. What do you got for me?
Thank you. Yeah, my first question for you on today's episode is, do you think men and women can genuinely just be friends?
Ooh. Yes, haven't you watched Seinfeld? Sorry, this is a yes or no. All right. Has racism gotten worse in this country in the past 10 years?
No. Do you think we should probably encourage dress codes in neutral public spaces for men and women?
No.
All right.
Should I'm going to ask a relationshipy question because we're very hip and cool on Unfiltered program. Should serious romantic partners share their phone passwords with one another?
No.
Very quick response.
No.
Okay. Look forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah, I asked you if men and women can genuinely just be friends, and you said yes. Are you out of your mind?
No, of course. Of course they can. I mean, this is that's really an easy answer, actually. I mean, if you in that generic question, I have plenty of female friends who I'm not in any way romantically involved with. One of my closest friends here in the Twin Cities, she's someone I worked in fashion with, and she's married. I know her husband, all of that. But she's a very close friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the question were, could you be friends with someone that you dated? Very, very different scenario,
That's
of
different.
course. And that one's a tough one. That one's a tough one because there's always going to be maybe some level of sexual tension,
Mm-hmm.
right? In that scenario. I do have friends who I had maybe either dated or maybe just messed around with in the past. And they are still my friends. And whether that is something that would be accepted by other people I'm dating, that's another story. Some partners take big issue with that, with you, spending time with someone that you dated previously.
Yeah, the reason I don't believe men and women can just genuinely be friends. Now, your case is a little bit one of the few special cases, and I think it's partly because the lady in question is married. But I feel like when men hang around women too much, they develop that sexual tension, and we cannot deny it. It grows. If a man is just genuinely looking at you like a friend, well, deep down within their heart, and they want nothing to do with you sexually, I doubt if that person will want to.
By that standard, you're assuming that there's going to be a mutual attraction between two people just solely based on them being male and female.
No, it's always from the male angle. Women can genuinely be friends with men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
As long as it's beneficial to them. Women will know fully well that this person have feelings for me, but they will put you in the friend zone just because they have other benefits from you. Yeah. Like attention. Of course, when you go out with a woman as a traditional man, you're not gonna make them.
She just want attention.
Absolutely, attention, right? And as a traditional man that I know most of us are, when you hang out with a lady, even if it's your friend or not, half the time you're the one handling the bills. So it will make no sense to be in a situation like that, being friends with a woman, going out with them a lot, getting to spend all that money on them, listening to them cry about their relationship issues, and then you're getting nothing back in return. Yeah. So I feel when men hang around women and they call it this is just my friend, it's typically because the lady haven't given them green light yet.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Really?
they have another plan. However, if you are friends with someone that is married, your situation is a little bit different. There's always a special case in almost everything.
Hmm.
But a single lady and a single man cannot be friends. If they try to be friends, I think the lady will definitely be benefiting more than the man from that friendship.
How so?
The man will just be,
Because
yeah,
I'm paying for dinner.
you pay for dinner, you listen to her rant
Doesn't
about
have to be that way. You know.
that's how it is always like.
Well,
There's no way you can be
my
friends
friend
with a
bought me
lady.
dinner just last week.
How many times have you bought her dinner? Did you buy her dinner? Sorry, before she bought you dinner last week.
There was a few. There was a
That's
few.
there you go. But if it
Yeah.
was a guy, would you be buying them dinners like that?
Absolutely not.
Uh-huh. So friendship between men and women can genuinely just be friendships. I mean, between men and men can genuinely just be friendships. But between men and women, no, there's always someone with a plan. There's
Hmm.
always someone getting more out of that friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
What about two gay men?
two gay men. You know what? That's a good question. I've not
Who
been
should
around
pay for dinner?
two gay men. I've not been around gay men to know what two gay men would like. I
Yeah.
know men and women because I've been
You may
around
be surprised.
men and women, but I've not been around gay men to know how it works between them.
Hmm.
But I guess whoever asks who out will be paying for stuff.
Yeah. Do you think it should be the same in the case of men and women? Should whoever asks the person out be the one to pay?
That's if they're dating. If the lady asks the gentleman out, then she should be paying for the bills.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm sitting at home peacefully and you call me and you ask us to go out, you don't expect me to pay, right? I mean, I was at home comfortably.
Sure.
You wanted to go out and have fun. You should have enough money to pay for that. But yeah, when you're just friends with a lady, trust me, 6 months, 7 months down the line, oh, I saw this pair of shoes at the mall. I really want it. Then you buy.
Hmm.
I wanted to do this. You pay for it. Before you know it, you're playing the boyfriend part without any benefits. That's why I think it's a terrible idea and it's just not genuine.
I'm not buying shoes for any of my female friends. I'll tell you that much. But
But the ones that are not married, you're sleeping with them, right?
not necessarily.
You are. Stop lying. It's impossible. You're sleeping with them. You just don't want to say the truth, but that's how it works.
Hmm.
In that relationship dynamics, when a lady is friends with a guy, either the lady is getting all of these benefits without putting anything out on the table because the guy is just a simp.
Well,
Or
I'll a simp.
they're
Yeah, I
definitely
don't even
sleeping
know
with
what
each
that's
other.
about. Watch your mouth.
A simp.
Yeah, yeah.
A simp is someone that just
That's
spends.
that's these
This
these
is new
Gen Z terms.
yeah.
Um, aging myself a little bit there, but um, I mean, to open it up a little bit, I have a lot of different scenarios now. That as a single father,
Mhm.
I'm hanging out with single mothers,
Okay.
right? A lot of my daughter's friends, you know, their mothers are the ones bringing them on the play dates, whatever. Um, so just to give another example, right?
Yeah.
These are platonic relationships. Um, in some cases, do we have interest in maybe sleeping with each other? Yeah, maybe. But don't you think in those scenarios, like, it could be just two adults who are spending time together
Nah,
in a platonic
I do
way?
not think so. What I think is this: because of your daughters, you guys are interacting, right? And the setting is not right yet. But if the setting was right, you will sleep with each other. That's what I think. Because they're single, you're single.
Hmm,
Yeah, if
okay.
you start enjoying each other's company, it's just because the vibe, the situation is not just right yet. When you guys get in the mood in the quiet night, it will happen. That's why I don't think women and men can just be friends, go out, hang out, jump with one another for months without that ever happening. If that is the case between them, right? That means that lady is just using that guy for financial benefits, for social benefits. She
Hmm,
knows exactly what she's doing, and the guy is just falling into it.
yeah.
But even at that, the guy is still waiting for his opportunity.
I don't know. It's painting it with kind of a broad brush. I mean, what if these are just two people who like to hang out, but there are even cases where you could go out with a female friend and you go out to a bar and y'all are like winging each other. You're you playing wing woman for each other at the bar, and you're interested in other people.
In that situation, I would really be interested in knowing who is paying, who's paying that tab. Because if you're doing that and you the one, and
Coming back to the bill for you.
absolutely,
How
because
much is it costing?
look,
Okay.
at the end of the day, relationships are becoming a financial decision rather than an emotional one, especially for men.
Mm.
So it's pointless hanging out with a girl that you get to spend all this money on, listen to her call you at midnight and complain about her fucking entire shift,
Mm.
and then you're getting nothing out of that relationship. It's crazy. You just better go make friends with a bunch of men that will not call you for dumb shit like that. And when you go out with them, they will spend with you equally.
Mm-hmm.
Than hang out with women that every time you have to pay for the theater fees, everything.
So
For the
for
coffee
you, it's
expenses.
about the imbalance.
The imbalance. That's what I'm trying to get to the whole time.
Okay.
That relationship dynamic is never gonna work if you want to term it as a genuine one. It's never gonna work because one of the two must have another plan.
What you gonna do for me?
That's it. It's
Well,
always what they're gonna gain out of it. And women are very special at manipulating weak men in those relationships.
I tend to get some good meals out of those relationships. You know, I'm not a great chef cook myself, and you know,
So my question
y'all
to
know
you
I
is
like
this.
a good I like a good African soup too. So
All right, when you get this good African soup overall, right? What do you spend to get that?
what do I spend
Are
to
you
get
gaining
this
out of a relationship or you're losing? This genuine friendship you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. What am I giving in that
No,
instance?
yeah. What are you giving?
Um, I mean, not necessarily anything. If
You're
I'm
not
just
giving anything? Then you're one of the few lucky men that are not giving anything because for most men, in a situation like that, when they're getting like food back from the lady, they're actually putting out a lot of money.
really,
Yes.
and what you mean? Like they're paying for meals or
Everything they
something
do when
else?
they go out,
Okay.
the lady just dump it on you. Oh, you're the man. You're the man. And plus, let's not
I don't
forget.
know. I get your point, but I
Mhm.
think you know, we have to mature as we have to mature culturally here. I mean, two grown adults, you know, should be able to split costs. You know, if it's a non-dating
With these modern
scenario.
women.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think
You
so.
know,
Let's be adults
so
here.
look for
You
the
know,
audience,
like,
right? This is what privilege looks like. This is pretty privilege. That's what we call pretty privilege, right? That's
are
why
you
you don't.
calling me pretty?
No,
Thank you.
I'm just saying, like, you're getting the advantages, right?
Of what?
Of advantages that the regular guy will not get because you're 6 plus tall, you're all of this.
Oh, so I
The,
am pretty.
the regular guy out there, right, will not get this advantage. So yeah, just an observation.
Okay.
So your storyline is not the mainstream storyline. It's not the common man's line in America. So typically, when a woman is around them and they are supposed to cook for them and bring them food like that, just as friends, come on, man, you're
Well,
paying for everything.
well, no, I'm not saying it's not a every relationship doesn't have some give and take.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, sure, I do things. You know, might take the or you know pay for a movie at some point or whatever it is. So I'm not saying I'm just in there to take food from them or whatever. Like
But
I
over,
do
over
think
the
to your
time, right?
point,
Yeah.
there has to be it has to go both ways.
Mhm.
You know, um, it can be simple. It can be like you know they're coming over to my place. I'll order a pizza for everyone. Or order pizzas, whatever. I'm going over there. I get some. They're cooking. Um, and so you know I get some food out of it. It's like the dynamic has to be in some way, yeah, that you're both gaining something.
Maybe the age group too
Um,
matter though. Maybe the age
that's a
group.
simple example, but oh
Maybe
sure.
the age group too matter because older women would understand that. Well, you have to also put in some work to have
Hmm.
fun with anybody. But
Put in
this,
work, baby.
yeah, but younger women now, no, 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 no. Being friends, just genuinely friends with a younger lady means you're only gonna be spending and spending and spending, and you're not gonna be getting anything back in return.
Mm.
That means even when you feel down, like sometimes
You're gonna be simping.
you're going through business crisis or family crisis, you call a friend, you guys go grab a beer, you talk about that stuff. Regular female friends don't even do that. They will not do that. They wouldn't want to sit down and listen to you. They don't just understand male emotions. So you will see that that relationship will is just gonna be one-sided. Except, well, if you're sleeping with her, then you're getting something back. So
Mm.
that's why I think being friends with a lady Just friends? Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Go get a guy. Go meet someone that you can drink beer with at 2 a.m. and talk about how awesome or how terrible life is. Don't, don't waste that energy on a lady that this is just my friend.
Hmm.
Unless you have another plan. But yeah, it's not happening. Not in this generation.
Some of these women will outdrink you. You better be careful. We'll find you some
Who is going to be
drinks.
buying
Don't
for the
worry.
drinks, though? That's my question.
Fair question.
Because when you go
Fair
out
question.
with the boys, everybody's buying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody's buying. But when you go out with a lady, you're buying. And guess what? When you step out of the bar with her and she sees somebody, or maybe somebody calls her, disrespect her, now you have to fight. Oh, yeah,
I
because
have
you're a
to
man.
fight.
Now you have to fight because you're a man. You have to protect her. Now you have to fight too. On top of the
I'm
fact
getting
that
in bar
you're
fights
not
now.
sleeping with her, you paid for for the
Stressful.
entire thing. You step out. You can't even call her when you're down. You step out of the bar now. She's out here disrespecting people, and now you have to fight.
Hmm.
Yeah, but if it's your guy, you know now it's two of you guys, and he's not even gonna disrespect anybody because he's not trying to get punched. But women, they're not gonna shut up. They're
Yeah.
gonna keep yapping, and now you have to fight. So
I'm not going to fight anybody. I did once have to carry my friend out of a bar on my shoulder because she was starting fights. But I didn't fight anybody. I just
then I
sometimes
don't.
you have to put your friends in their place. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think you've been around women like that. I've been around crazy women like that. Women that when they take a drink, just know that one of you guys will have to fight that night. I don't think you've. Yeah, I don't think
Man, that's stressful.
because here's how it works. Some guys do not believe in not punching women. If you disrespect them, they will knock you out. And because of that, if you call her, oh, this is genuinely just my friend, she's gonna go disrespect this guy. And you as a man, well, you can't just let the lady you stepped out will get punched. It's
How do
not
you
gonna
feel
happen.
about that? Will you punch a woman?
No,
I have some women I might need you to punch if.
I wasn't raised like that. But
Oh.
I was raised in this way. If you are out with a lady and somebody disrespects that lady,
Mhm.
that's the day you have to fight. There are just some things that when you grow up the way we grow up, you know that as a man, it's a curse you're born with. Like if there's war today, I gotta go to war. Even if I like it or not, I will be in the front line because I'm a man. That's my God-given role. If I go
Hmm.
out with a lady today, even if it's just a friend, somebody's trying to disrespect that girl, now I have to fight.
Hmm.
I can't walk away. I have to fight. I must fight because I'm not gonna let her get disrespected. I'm not gonna let her get punched. Even if she started it or not, if I try to negotiate, if I try diplomacy, it doesn't work, I have to crash out. But when you're with your fellow man, hanging out with just a guy, you guys are not, he knows these things. Men know these things. Men know things they don't do to other men. We know how to avoid problems, but women will only keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Now you're in a mess. So I'm not gonna be hanging out with a woman calling it genuine friendship if I know I have to do all these things. And if I know if we go out in the street and somebody disrespect her, I'm gonna have to die for her.
You need to get you an old woman.
That is
Classic.
that,
You're
that is
hanging out with too many young girls.
that's not happening. No, I'm not doing that. So yeah, that's why I was asking this question: if men and women can just genuinely be friends. When I make genuinely be friends, right?
So you don't have any women friends?
No, what for? I have acquaintances.
Okay.
I have acquaintances. I don't need women friends. I don't do that because I'm not trying to get killed because you're being a moron when we go
Yeah,
out.
that seems extreme. But okay.
That
So I
seems.
see where.
Have you been out here in the cities? Have you been going to places out here in the cities?
Of
Have you
course,
been anywhere with a disrespectful woman?
many times.
My friend. If you want to get big, you will have to except you're one of the people that don't live by that code that well if somebody disrespect the lady you're with you have to defend their rights. If except you're not one of them. But if you're one of
Well,
them,
I don't go around without my bodyguards anymore. But
yeah, well if you have bodyguards, good for you. I don't. So
no,
I'd rather
no.
hang out with a guy that will understand that if we are drinking and we are getting drunk somewhere, this you don't mess with another man.
What about exes? Do you have exes that you still talk to?
All of my exes I still talk to, except one,
Are they your friends?
the last girl I dated. They are not my friends. I wouldn't call them my friends.
But you would feel obligated to cover the bill if you went out with them,
Well,
even though.
first of all, I'm not going to be going out with them. But yeah, if I went out with them, I'll cover the bill then. But we're going back home then.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's the arrangement.
But we were going. Yeah, that's already established. Why would I go out with my ex if we're not gonna just leave there and go back home? What for?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have my exes. Some of them I still call them when I get drunk. When it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, I'm just sitting at home drinking. I call
The
up.
drunk dial.
Yeah, I tell them
Classic.
all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. I tell them how I miss them.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a while.
Oh yeah, that's fun for me.
I'd
I
have to
call
try that.
when I see them in a happy relationship, I start calling them right away.
Send the "What are you doing?" text to
No,
50
I
contacts
just
in my
call.
phone.
I just call. I call at 2 a.m. in the morning. One, I ask them, "Are you up?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about us lately." Yeah, I do that all of. Then the next day, I act like I didn't do it.
Well, yeah. Got to be careful with it nowadays.
But it's fun, man.
Drunk FaceTiming
I
because
don't.
they can record that.
No, I don't FaceTime. I just call.
Yeah.
Have a whole deep conversation. We do like the little walk down the memory lane, talk
Hmm.
about some fun things we did back in the day, how I enjoyed them, And I feel like they're starting to
In the
open
middle
up.
of the night.
Yeah, when I feel like they're starting to open up again, then I know it's time to go. Next, I call the next one.
So you just want someone to talk to. That's what you want.
My exes are there for that. I don't need no new friends, no new female friends.
Because the only question I'm asking if I'm calling somebody at 2 in the morning is, "Are you coming over?"
Actually, you know the weird thing about me? When I'm calling them right then, I'm not even calling them because I want them to come over.
Hmm.
Sometimes I just want to have a 30 minutes conversation, yap about the
Yeah.
past,
Latina
enjoy
is a
it.
very deep man,
Then
especially at 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Yeah, when I'm drunk, yeah, I call them, all of them, tell them how much I miss them. Ding, 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 dong, this is me again.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I don't think our women and men can just genuinely be friends. I think it's a mistake on the man's end because you have to defend them, you have to provide, you have to do all these things, especially as a traditional man. And at the end of the day, you're not getting
Well, what
anything
about?
back in return. That's crazy.
What about defending your male friends? What if someone insults your male friend?
Here's the thing.
Then what happens?
Now, if me and you are in a bar right now, somebody disrespect you now. What I know now is this: it's the two of us. We're gonna fight these people, but it's the two of us.
Hmm.
But when a lady and you knowing that, you're not gonna go out looking for trouble because you know if we get in trouble, both of us will have to fight all these monsters. But a lady will just
Yeah.
be like, "Oh yeah, go beat them up,"
Some of
and
the
then she stands in the back alone.
some of the ladies I know might be better fighters. So
Really?
yeah, I'll let them handle it. No,
No, but don't tell me you do that, man. Come on, man. Develop some
got
testosterone.
those
What's
heels
wrong
on.
with you?
You know, could do some damage with those.
Little, nah, man. Come on, don't say that.
Well, thanks for sharing. Yeah, that's I mean, I stand as an example of someone who has female friends.
Well, it's special for you.
Platonically.
And okay,
I guess
here's another thing that you're missing out.
But yeah,
You have a daughter.
yes, as I mentioned, yeah.
When you have a kid, it's different because she's definitely gonna make some friends, and their moms will automatically be hanging around you more because you guys go to the same playgrounds, you do the same kid stuff.
Right, sure.
Yeah. So that changes the dynamics a little bit.
And
But like,
not exclusively. I mean, I have dad friends as well.
that's what I'm
But
saying.
it does tend to be the mothers
Like you go out.
kind of planning the play dates and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, some alternative scenarios there. But to your point, I see your point. It can be challenging to have platonic female friends and the power dynamic, the financial dynamic, all of those factors play into it. So, share us your thoughts as well. Speaking to the audience now, share us your
Yeah,
thoughts on that.
absolutely.
Do you have platonic friends of the opposite sex? Um,
Yeah.
What's the situation?
Yeah. Anybody that comes here lying, I will know. Don't just come here. Do not lie in the comment section. I will know. Because yeah, you know already it's better to have a good conversation with a guy as a guy than with a chick. The only reason you're hanging around that girl is because you want something. Just be honest. Yeah.
There you have it. All right, moving on to the next question.
Yeah.
In Fire Round, I asked you, has racism gotten worse in this country over the past decade?
Honestly, I really don't have the data, but I would say no because I'm beginning I'm beginning to see more people from the Caucasian community in America, right, interact with brown and black people. I've only been here for like I'm about to be here now for 8 years this June, so I don't really know exactly how it was before I came here. But looking at history, I know racism was really bad because there was a time there was white water, black water. You couldn't use the white toilet if you were black.
Segregation.
Thank you. Segregation. That's the word I was trying to. Yeah. But over time, we are now in a place where we now can all coexist in the society and enjoy everything together. Yeah.
But do you think that's working?
In the past 10 years, I wouldn't know exactly because I wasn't here 10 years ago.
Sure.
Yeah. But for the few years I've been here, what I'm seeing more is I've made more white friends personally. And Yeah, I interacted a lot with more white people in recent years than when I
Hmm.
first came here. And I'm also seeing now more open dialogues about this racism thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm seeing more people from the Caucasian community take a stand against racism, joining the black people more and more every day.
sure.
Yeah, we're even getting interracial relationships skyrocket. So I think racism is slowing down because of all of these aspects that we can all witness within our society.
In that respect, I would tend to agree with you,
Yeah.
because it's somewhat of a trick question, because a lot of people um, on the right are race baiting and using this as a way to divide people. But the reality is, on the ground, I think, if you're looking actually in communities and stuff, is people just want to get along, right? They just want to, for the most part, they just want to be friends with their neighbors. They want to, you know, they want to be open
People are
to the
tired, man.
sure,
Rent is due every 24, 28 days. Grocery prices are up. Nobody have time for that nonsense anymore. Everybody just want to get
sure,
along and have a good time.
yeah. On the flip side, I mean, I've heard people make this outrageous statement that like that they look back on a time in this country, like the let's say the 90s, when things were, on a surface level, things were just sort of stable. Like the economy was really stable. This was like the Clinton era, right? When
Mhm.
Bill Clinton was president in the 90s, things were just kind of chill, and like, for the most part, middle class communities were doing okay.
What
Um,
does that have to do with racism?
I'll tell you,
Yeah.
is that people then said that, as we got into the 2000s and we got the first black president this country has ever seen in Barack Obama.
Yeah.
I've heard, this was a storyline of some people on the right, that Obama brought racism back somehow, and so that all of a sudden, because race was a part of the conversation more, I think that now there was more attention on it, and that it drew more attention to, let's be real, all the racist things that were already happening, but that in the 90s and those other eras, white people just didn't have to hear about. And so that sense of calm and sort of stable was it was true as long as you weren't paying attention to what was happening in other communities outside your own, because racism was very prevalent, still is, and now it's more in our faces, I think. People are capturing it on their phones,
That's that. In fact, that
that's
was
exactly
exactly what I was gonna say after
what
you.
what that well,
Yeah.
that's right here in Minneapolis. That's what triggered the George Floyd incident.
Mhm.
Is the fact that any of us know about that is because someone happened to record it on their cell phone,
Yeah.
and we see an officer, literally draining the life out of an unarmed black man, and that's horrifying to have to witness, right? And so, like, it's I think it's the fact that this is now something we can't avoid, the conversations that we can't avoid. And so, like I said before, I would tend to agree with you, actually, that um, it is improving, but now, as a society, we have been more recently forced to face these issues more head on, and that makes it feel like there's so much division. And I think that politics, especially politics of this era, focus so heavily on that and use that as a
Not
tool.
only politics, but also we see how the mainstream media use it
Oh yeah, absolutely.
to get their viewerships up, and it's appalling, man. It's always disgusting to watch how they manipulate race to get us talking and to get us more divided so that they can get their viewership up. But yeah, here's what happened that is different from the 90s to today is we had the internet blew up.
Yeah,
Prior to that, the evolution of the internet and how the internet grew and became a tool that we use on a daily basis in our society, right? We didn't have an outlet that could show the day-to-day differences between white, black, brown, and Asians in this country. I don't know if Asians fall under brown, but yeah, just people living in the community, right? But now we have the internet, and when anything happens, what happens? You just see it on the media right away,
yeah,
and then the mainstream media goes in there to they take it, they play it because they realize that when they play that race card, they get more views.
sure.
So yeah,
No, that's my point. It's much more in our faces.
face right now.
The communities.
Obama did not bring it. He did not.
No,
He did not.
he brought attention to it.
He
And
it wasn't Obama.
not even on intentionally though. This was just the fact that he was a black man
No,
in the
no.
White House for the first time
Obama
ever.
had absolutely nothing to do with it. What happened was Obama existed in a time that the internet evolved and exploded.
Yes, but he was
It was
also a
the
black
internet.
man,
Yeah, he was.
and that angered a lot of people in this
It did
country.
anger a lot of people, but there was nothing that Obama brought that wasn't there before. That's what I'm trying to
Oh
get
well,
to.
that I agree with, but I'm
Yeah.
saying his presence had an impact,
Not as the internet, not
and
as much as the internet.
because well, it was both. I mean, that's the internet is what, in all honesty, helped him get into the White House in the first place. I mean, yeah, there was a lot going on in this. It was a tech boom, right?
Mhm.
Massive advancements in tech, social media
Yeah.
was in its heyday, right? Um, I mean, this the reason, back to my point, is that some people on the right have made this statement that he brought racism back is because he had to be the first black man to ever be in the White House,
Mhm.
and because of that, he was forced to address all of these issues that a president wouldn't typically have to address. Issues of race. Anytime some racially charged incident happened, he was interrogated about it. Like you know, there was an incident where a cop arrested a black man, a black professor, in front of his own home because he thought he was, trespassing or something like that, and Obama had to get involved, which is, I mean, ridiculous if you really think about it. Like, why are they asking the president about this isolated incident, whatever, or not necessarily isolated incident, but this specific incident that got blown up by the media.
Yeah.
Um, and so because he was forced to speak on these issues, then it's like, oh well, he's the one
Yeah, I
bringing
think the people,
race
those
back
people
in.
saying that stuff, they don't really know how to define it. What they mean is Obama was shining light into the ongoing struggles of the black man in America. He wasn't necessarily
Not even
bringing
intentionally
it.
necessarily. He was
Yeah,
just, by nature of being a black
a
man.
black man in the White House, he wasn't bringing it. It was already there. It was just nobody was paying attention to it, and then we didn't have these communication tools in our hands like the way we do right now. Something can happen in Minneapolis right now, and in 3 minutes, someone in South Africa is already so mad at it, mad about it. In 3 minutes. So
Hmm.
yeah, we have fast communication too.
Hmm.
And then yeah, you're right. We definitely he definitely exposed a lot.
Yeah,
Being a black man in DC.
it's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think racism definitely went down over the years. I'm not even gonna lie because man, well, forget what you see on the mainstream media. Forget it. On the day-to-day basis, nobody is worried about this guy is white, this guy is black. At the end of the day, everybody just want to pay their rent, take
Right.
care of their small ways of life, and go on about their day. Nobody's worried about the skin color of anybody.
Well, and that's what I mean by, yeah, take a look at, if we measure it by what's actually happening in communities
Mhm.
versus what's being blown up in the media. It's two very different worlds, right?
Two different
Um,
things.
different worlds. But what I would say is it's not a bad thing to have it exposed, right? Because then people, though it's some people don't want to be faced with the harsh realities, but once we are, we have a chance to address it. And the thing about it is,
Yeah,
um, every human being has racial biases.
we all do.
It's learned from the moment
Absolutely, we all do.
we can walk and talk and everything. We start creating judgments in our brains about other people who are different from us. And so if we're not able to acknowledge that, I think a huge thing that has pushed society forward is just acknowledging that
That we all have
there's
this racial
bias everywhere we
bias.
go. And if we can accept that, then we can start to
Let me tell you
realize
something, Ben.
what judgments are based on stereotypes
Yeah,
and other things. And just to finish that point, um, just the awareness of your own bias is massive. And so, like they did uh, a test on some police departments around the country. I think what Las Vegas police was one example, and they said, um, just by that police department acknowledging there's potential for racial bias, they started their violent encounters went down by 30% in that police department, just by acknowledging the
by
fact, not
acknowledging.
even changing a policy,
Yeah.
just by saying, hey, we as police officers have the potential for racial bias. So facing it, right, acknowledging it, and I think that's progress that's been made.
Let me tell you something, Ben. In my 8 years
Tell
in
me.
America, right,
Hmm.
the most racist people I've encountered are my people.
Your people, meaning your
Black people, Africans, African Americans, Caribbeans, black people. We are the most racist motherfuckers I've seen in America. I'm sorry about
really okay.
my way of wording. Like the things we sit down and say, the way we treat people out of our community, we still have that old, strong racism, you
Right.
know. And yeah, it's also linked to tribalism when you add Africans into it.
How does that show itself in form? I mean, what does that look like? This type of racism you're
Are you walk into a room, black guy is just gonna look at you and call you, oh, who is this white boy? Straight up like that. That 1960s
I prefer
level
the
of
term
racism.
cracker.
Yeah, that they're like, oh, that white boy. Like we have that deep rooted racism in
Mm,
us, but
okay.
that's something that we're not even willing to talk about. And here's the thing: if we wanna kill this word racism completely, because that's a point that I wish we can get to fast. Because I'm tired of being labeled as black. I just want to be labeled as a man. I want to be a human being for once. If I'm doing something great, I want you to appreciate it because this person is just really good at this thing, and he just deserved this chance. It's by merit. He earned this. You just give it to me. You don't hold the opportunity for me because I'm black, and you don't give it to me because I'm black. I want to get to that point where you can give something to me just because I'm a human being. Interact with me just because I'm someone you want to call brother, right? But for us to be able to eradicate and all the word racism to get it out completely and get to the point where black, brown, green, purple, whatever the fuck you are, it don't matter. You are just a human being. The other side, the side that have been oppressed all these years, must also realize that we don't fight the same thing by becoming it. We can't fight racism by becoming racist. It's not gonna work like that. We can't fight racism by supporting the murder of a young white guy in Texas. That kid was killed. I don't know why we contributed 300 and something thousand dollars to help his defense. He killed somebody. Self-defense or not, why when you stab somebody?
I don't know what
Yeah.
instance you're
No,
referring to,
it's
but
just yeah. Let's not get into that. That is just two I think two college or two high schools kids that had a quarrel, and this black guy stabbed the white guy and killed him. But for some reason, I saw the black community came together and they contributed so much money for his defense. Some say it's because it was self-defense and all of that. But my only question is, since when in America are we allowed to walk around with knives? So
really,
yeah, you have a knife to stab somebody in. Yeah,
really, that's your
but yeah,
question.
that's my. All I'm saying is somebody died.
We're a gun country. People are out here walking
All
around
I'm
with
saying
AK-47s, and you're
is it legal that they're carrying AK-47 everywhere?
some places, yeah, it is.
All I'm saying is someone died.
Hmm.
Why are we supporting this? If you get what I'm trying to say, maybe I'm just taking it out of context. Maybe I don't understand the full situation. Maybe someone is gonna help
Yeah,
explain it to
I don't
me.
know that situation
Yeah,
as I
but
mentioned, but
anyways, that's a bad example. Let me take that out of the conversation. Let's scratch it out. But here's the thing: because we are blacks, it doesn't mean we always have to support all the bad things black people do because they are black. At the end of the day, let's bring black excellence to the world in a way that we don't have to label it as black anymore.
yeah.
Let it just be
So sure.
excellence.
So as you mentioned before, being judged, right, by in the words of Martin Luther King, who said it similar to what you said at the beginning of your comments. Being judged by the content of your character, um, rather than the color of your skin. I mean, that was the dream, right? That Martin Luther King
That's my dream.
himself uh, prophesized for this
Mhm.
country. Um, we're very far from that still to this day. We have to.
That's what I said. I hope we can get
Yeah,
someday.
yeah. We have
Maybe
to
not in my time.
acknowledge that if it were the case that we could just accept people for their character and not based on race, then first what has to start happening is a total upending of the system that's existed here for hundreds of years because it's built in a way that
Sadly, I'm gonna have to agree with you.
prioritizes white communities over others,
Absolutely.
funds white communities, funds white schools, funds uh, white healthcare, quite frankly. I mean, so all of these factors that are just
White racism in America is rooted in the system. I get what you're saying.
yes,
100%.
it is a system that's built around, you know,
Yeah.
what,
I wish we can get there someday, but as an individual living here today, man, I don't want to start brands and label it as minority brands. I want to label it as brand.
Mhm.
If you love my product, buy it.
Sure.
Don't be forced to buy a product of mine because you think I'm a black person. It doesn't sit right with me. I want you to buy it without even knowing the face of who is behind it. If
Sure.
you get what I'm getting, where I'm getting with this, I want to show up for a job interview and you don't deny me because I'm black. No, I want you to give me the opportunity because I'm just a human being standing in front of you first,
Sure.
and let me prove myself. And I don't want you to share a glass of whiskey with someone just because you think, oh, they are of the opposite skin color, or they are from the same skin color as you, like that. I want us to do things because we are just human beings, and we think this person in front of me is just so damn cool, and I think we can do a lot together.
Well, thank you.
That's what I want.
I am very cool.
Yeah, I don't.
Here's to us sitting here.
Yeah, that's what I want. So this is the place.
Tini has a dream.
This is the place I hope that we get to. So yesterday I was going to Instagram. There's this professor. He calls himself prof, right? The guy does like these suits. He's in suit business. Man, he's good at it.
Okay.
So I love his suits. So it's like this kid had a conversation with him, and the guy was asking him if he loved what I think it was Mid Gala that happened
On Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we release this episode, it's probably gonna be like a week or 2 weeks ago. But yeah,
The Met Gala. Yeah.
the
I was
Met
at an
Gala.
event on Monday night.
Yeah, yeah. I think the theme for the Met Gala was black tailors, something like that.
Black dandies. Something along those lines.
Thank you.
I don't usually follow the Met Gala, but I was at an event, and
I just know it because I was reading from his story, right? The professor went off. He was like, no, he doesn't have to comment on this. That he hates all this level of tokenism in our society. He can't stand it anymore. He wants black excellence to just be excellence. He doesn't want us to have to label it. He doesn't want people to acknowledge him as a great tailor just because he's black. He wants people to acknowledge him as a great tailor because he is just a great tailor.
Sure.
I agreed with him on so many levels, man.
Yeah,
I was like, this is all I ever wanted.
I mean, on the flip side of that, some of the reason for highlighting the black culture and contributions over the years to specifically acknowledging that is because they've in the past and in the current been largely left out of those conversations, whether it's fashion, whether it's film, all of these things. The reason for wanting to now sort of, I think, acknowledge in some cases that, hey, this was the black American influence on these things is because they were left out of that conversation. And so it's not that it has to be solely based on race, but it's an acknowledgement that
this was not
that we are a diverse country, and like.
But here's the thing:
hasn't been.
I understand what you're saying, right? And I respect that a lot, and I also understand that this has been the case for many years. But damn it, when are we gonna get to that point where we can just get past all of this and just be one awesome country, just a people?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying. That's where I'm trying to get. I'm not looking back at history. Well, why? Wow, I'm not trying to stay in the past. I'm interested in black future. I'm not interested in black history.
Yes. Well, history informs the future. We do have to look back in order to move forward.
We've studied all the history we can all these years. We know everything about Martin Luther, Mansa Musa, Sankara.
Well, it's interesting you say that because now they're trying to erase black history.
We know all this. Right? Let's erase. I want black history gone. I want it erased. Here's the thing. I don't want black history. I want history.
Yeah, but that's whitewashed.
I don't want black. There's no. I've not seen Jewish history. I've not seen the Irish history anywhere.
There is that too.
No. We don't have Irish history.
Yeah, we do.
Month.
It's called history. Because those.
Can we make black history?
Well,
that's what I need. Black. I don't need it erased. I need that term black history to disappear.
Yeah,
I need it to just be history.
But we can ignore the reality, which is that
the reality is black history is just history.
Black history has been taken out of the history that's been taught in this country.
I have a problem with that, Mr.
And
Ben. Don't get me
so,
wrong. I don't want it to just term it Black history. I want it to just be history.
well,
I
yeah,
want it taught,
then
but
we
I
need it.
don't want it to be Black history. I want it to just be history.
No, I get to the
I
end
don't need
goal.
Black History Month.
I get the end goal,
Yeah.
right? But we're very far away from that. And so until all school, schools across the country agree, and textbook makers agree to
Yeah.
rewrite all of their books to show um, the essential stories that have been taken out. Like I said, it's been whitewashed, and that's what eliminating Black history is attempting to do, is to bring it back to only telling certain stories, to handpicking history rather than telling the full story. And so, if we want to hear the full story, we do currently have to have Black history. Otherwise, we're not hearing the whole story of,
I, I
of the
I'm
history of this
I'm following
country.
what you're saying, right? It's not okay to for anyone to edit events of the past.
Well, yeah,
Nobody has the right to do that. It's very narcissistic, self-centered to try to do that. And it's almost like you're playing God. Nobody has the right to do that. But here's the thing, I'm more interested in Black present and Black future. Yeah. Right now where I sit, if I'm going down the street here today and I see 5 big Black guys coming up that street, I'm gonna cross the street. I cross right away. I'm sorry, I'm crossing over. And many Black people cross, but we don't want to acknowledge these things. That's Black presence right now. We are scared of our own. We are really scared of our own.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
and I get that. I mean, like I said
Look,
before,
okay, look at where we stand as a society, Ben. Let me ask you this. Look at what Martin Luther fought for. Look at what Malcolm X fought for, right? We have this amazing community. But look at the way Black people live. If we want growth, we must be able to acknowledge the problems of today. We can't keep pondering to this idiocracy we see around us and keep supporting these moronic activities. Look at Black communities, look at them. The family in the Black community is broken. It's difficult to see a dad and a mom in the same household today. It's always my baby daddy this, my baby mama that. Listen to our music. Bitch, fuck, ho. Come on, man. What are we doing?
well, yeah.
There
I
used
mean,
to be there used to be Black people, and there used to be a community in the Black
I mean,
society.
you can trace that to direct results of the intentional segregation, redlining, all of these things that white governments really intentionally did to break down Black families. That I mean, that goes to the very dark history of this country that we, as I was just mentioning, need to not ignore,
Uh-huh.
especially if we want to advance.
I want to blame the American government for this, but I cannot wholly blame the American government for it. And here's
Not
why
wholly.
why I cannot wholly blame the American government for this, right? If somebody is coming to break your home apart, right? You're seeing them coming. It is up to you to protect your home. Black people let that happen. They let it happen. Same as I always tell Africans. We are letting the world, the Western world, keep exploiting Africa today. We are the ones letting them.
So it's not. It's. I mean, that's a simplified view, right?
No, it's not the same.
It's not just about.
There is no other way to look at this. There's no other complicated angle to look at this. We are letting that happen.
So there absolutely is. I can give you a very specific example, right?
Yeah.
Of it's not like they're just. I mean, when you say letting it happen, like what does that even mean, right? It's not the intentional racism that happens throughout this country is not something that is in the control of some folks living in a certain area of the city. For example.
No. You're not
So
getting me.
in,
So how?
in St. Paul, for example,
Yeah.
let me give you this example. In St. Paul, for example, there was the Rondo neighborhood. This is a very, very popular example in the Twin Cities, but
Yeah.
a neighborhood that was a more affluent Black neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
What the city of St. Paul and Minnesota government decided to do was to build that part of 94, the freeway, right through this affluent Black neighborhood.
Yeah.
So they built the freeway right through it. Do you think the people in that neighborhood were what are they going to do? Go and I mean,
now you're taking it out of context. You're not following what I'm saying. I was talking
no, I'm
about
giving
Black.
a very specific example.
No, I was talking about Black families.
But what do you mean by defend their homes? I mean, like,
no. When I said Black home, I didn't mean a building.
right.
I mean like a family union, man and woman and a daughter. That has nothing to do with a road. That has more to do with how we are viewing each other as Black people.
The family structure.
You get what I'm
sure.
saying? The family structure has nothing to do with a road going through a city.
But it does have to do with affluence.
You get what I'm saying?
And you can't ignore all of the
No,
external factors.
what I'm saying is the government also made it possible for for the black parent, for the black mother to be able to kick the black father out of the house and take child support. The government did that. But when the government did that, right, they didn't force the black mother to kick the black father out of the home and take child support.
Do you think they're kicking the father out?
Yes, we're doing it for the benefits. We're doing it for the we do. There are a lot of black families in this country that are broken today because of the benefits the government gives them.
That's an outrageous statement.
Absolutely, just a lot. and
That's nuts.
It doesn't matter if it's an outrageous statement or it's a not statement. At the end of the day, all I need to see more is what Malcolm and Martin fought for, which is two parents raising their beautiful children in a Christian home, and they are not out here in the street running half naked.
I'll tell you what they fought for.
Going to, and they are going to church every Sunday. They come back, they barbecue, they throw some meat on the grill. They cook. The children go to school on Mondays.
So I'll tell you what they fought
The
for.
rule doesn't have anything to do with that.
What they fought for in both cases, and especially in the case of Malcolm X, is equal access. And so until a community can have equal access to
that's one of the things that fought for. You're taking funds.
No, that's ultimately what it came down to for both of them. And so until that happens, I mean, there is no equality. So you're arguing from a place of if everything was exactly equal. No, but let me explain.
Yeah.
If you're arguing from a place of everything exactly
equal,
and then and then it's because they're behaving a certain way. No, you have it completely backwards. Those communities are suffering and having struggles with family dynamic because of the conditions.
Let me tell you something
that they're given.
Where my community, the black community that I love so much stand today, right? Even if the government give every black family $1 billion, we will still be separated. The family union will still be broken.
Well, I'm not suggesting giving them $1 billion.
No. What I'm trying to state to you is this:
changes.
It's not a matter of policies. It's not a matter of resources. It's a matter of us getting our.
It's all of the above.
Hold on. It's a matter of us getting our morals straight, coming back as a family union, coming back as a community together, supporting one another, then stepping up to ask the government for what we need.
Yeah,
you get it.
What's interesting about that statement when you mention morals is that, especially you as a Christian, as a Catholic, the black communities in this country are actually some of the most religious, most Christian,
and it's declining fast. It's declining rapidly.
No, actually, those are the communities that are most involved.
Yes, but it's declining. Like from what it used to be, it's declining.
Well, everything's declining, but they're still probably the most heavily
invested in Christianity, right?
Christian community. So it's not a
okay. Hold on.
It's not lacking.
Let me really explain this for you. What I was saying.
It's not lacking in values.
Let me really break this down. What I was trying to say, right? I understand the black communities have suffered from segregation and from inequality and all these other struggles that they have fought for so many years, right? But when I look back in 1960 and 1970, when these struggles were at their peak, when we had all these great leaders fighting so much to give much back to the black communities and to give the minorities a voice in this great nation, right, that they have helped build. What I realized was the family union was tight, right? When we were heavily segregated, the family union was tight. But what happened was over time, when we started getting some freedom, when they started peeling off the white water, black water, they started letting us study in colleges, giving us some few grants to go to colleges. For some reason, the family union started declining. Now, when you look further a little bit, you see that there was now this child support system and all these systems that were implemented that were helping single black moms, not only single black moms, single women of every community to get the things that they needed. But now, I don't think black people actually understood how to adapt into that system very well. And because of that, the black woman thought it was a good idea to just kick the black man out of the house so that they can gain from this. This is not an outrageous statement. If we want to grow and become a better community, we must be able to see our mistakes today and correct them. And that's what I'm most important in. I'm most interested in. I'm not interested in all this propaganda everywhere. Let's look within our community. The black community is broken. And it's not the white man's work right now. It is my work. It is the work of my beautiful black sister sitting next to me, that we cannot collaborate with one another, love one another, and build a beautiful family. It has nothing to do with the white man right now. You get it? We still have so much we can ask of the white man. But when it comes to this, same as I would tell the African man, the exploitation of the African man today is highly dependent on the leaders we vote and put in power. And that is also directly dependent on the people that vote for those idiots and put them in power. The white man played this part. That's the game that has always been. He's always going to try to gain the best out of his situation, as he should. But you should not let him do that. as a thinking and a reasoning human being that you argue that you are, you should be able to look at this and analyze and say, okay, this is not good for my community. This is good for my community. That's what I'm getting to. The black community is broken, but we have to fix it from within.
All right, I'm gonna have to cut you off because I don't think this rant is gonna end anytime soon.
It's not a rant.
So let me
It's not a rant.
let me clarify and make sure that we're actually bringing some factual information into this. It's statistically shown that government support for people in need does the opposite of exactly what you just said. So statistically, the majority of people who get onto welfare, for example, or get some of these child support, they actually advance in society. They actually end up getting into more stable jobs. Based on this support, it actually helps them to move up in society.
I don't think you even listened to what I was saying.
No, I did.
You considered it a rant and you didn't listen.
Platini, you just ranted for 5 straight minutes.
No, you did not listen.
I absolutely.
I didn't say they were advancing or not. What I was trying to get to is the
Let
black
me
family
finish.
union.
Let me finish the point here. Those you ranted about the government and how they're impacting these communities. So these government programs.
I wasn't right. I was ranting about how we are letting our families broke out.
Statistically,
and it wasn't a rant.
Do the opposite of what you just stated, and so it's not a matter of the government trying to help.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me finish speaking.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of the government making these people dependent, because we know from the data that the opposite is true.
Okay.
So these, providing support to communities in need actually helps lift some of those communities
providing support
out of poverty.
Them up.
And so, and it also makes, it also enables some of these people to break out of that system, right? And so, if we want to talk about family structures and all of these things, the best possible thing is to give these people from these communities who are struggling in those ways a chance, a fair shot.
All right, let me ask you a question, right? How do you get this help from the government? Do you get it when you are a family union or when you are separated from your man?
It has nothing to do with that, actually.
So I can get child support in America if I was a lady today. I can get child support in America if I'm still with the father of my kids, and we are in a beautiful home raising.
So that's two different things.
No,
right?
No. My focus today, Ben, my rant that you called.
Do you want to hear the answer?
No. Hold on. I didn't. I was focused only on the family union of the black community. That was only my focus.
So child support doesn't come from the government.
I know it doesn't come from the government. They take it out of the man's check. Yeah. But you can only get the government to take that money out of that man's check and give it to you if you are no longer together.
So you think women are
that's what I stated already more than 1 million
single mothers because they want to collect money?
125%.
I have no idea what that has to do with the black community, because that's
we took it too far. That's what I'm saying. No, all women do it, but the black people.
Well, you are the one bringing all of those points up.
That's what I said. So, that's what I've been trying to explain, but you've not been listening. What I've been trying to explain was the beautiful black family union. I wasn't talking about.
What does that have to do with child support?
Ben, you don't see how it's breaking the black families. I don't think you even know what you're talking about. You just called me a random. Let's talk about statistics, and you just sprouted nonsense, totally out of context. What you're basically stated is this: when the government gives this support to these people, it helps the guys. I didn't argue that. All I was saying is because this support is available, it's helping more families break.
Note to our audience: let's give Platini less of this for future shows. Because as you all witness, anybody watching,
no, don't do that, Ben. Don't do that. That's demeaning to me, man.
Then let me respond.
I'm very sober.
Let me respond.
That's demeaning to me. Just ask me to let you talk. I'll let you talk, man.
I've had to say that.
I can drink this entire bottle and still have.
You see what's happening right this moment? Yeah. You're still talking.
Go ahead, talk.
Yeah. So you brought up the black community. You brought up child support. You brought up men not being in the home.
Yeah.
Okay. Child support doesn't come from the government. I want to make sure our audience gets a fair understanding of what's being discussed. And it makes zero sense for a parent to intentionally become single for the purpose of child support. We just discussed in the previous episode how expensive it is to raise a child. There's no advantage to intentionally becoming a single parent. So there's no there's no logic to what we've just heard, right? And as I said, you know, nobody nobody wants to be in poverty, right? That's not like someone is not intentionally putting themselves in poverty to get certain benefits, right? And so government programs in some cases when they're provided, we know that those actually help people get out of poverty. But
Something that's very funny to me,
but
Ben.
making this
Something that is
an
really
issue
heavily
for
funny to me
specifically for the
is
black community, I don't see that.
the fact that you just sat down here and said nobody can kick the man out of the house because of child support really goes a long way to show me
I
to
didn't
show.
say that.
No, you just said that. Actually, you said it will make no sense for anybody to kick a parent out because of child
It
support.
wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it just goes a long way to show me that you really don't know much about the black community. I know people. I know people personally here.
Who's the one who
No,
actually
no,
pays child
hold on.
support?
I know people personally. No,
I'm
no,
well aware of how the
no.
system works.
You can be in the system, but you don't really understand exactly how it's tailored around my community. Being here, right? I've seen people, right? No, Ben, stop doing that. It's demeaning.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
you,
It's not respectful.
your rant is. We're,
No,
we're
no, no.
running out of time here, so
I'm
let's
having
wrap
a,
it up.
yeah, let's wrap it up, right? But I'm having a genuine conversation with you today, right? And I can drink this whole bottle,
Yeah.
talk with you, and say talk with 16 other people after this, and I will be fine. You get it? This has nothing to do with alcohol.
Yeah. So I genuinely listened
yeah,
to every word that you spoke.
yeah.
And
But here's the thing: I
I
know
waited
people,
and
right?
waited
I know people that
in order
I
to give
believe
you a
their
response
relationships
here.
will be. I know people that I believe that their relationships would be intact today if the government wouldn't have stepped in and take money from the man and give it to the woman. I'm not saying that it doesn't help some families, it helps some family. But like I always say, this is a double-edged sword that can be used to. You get it? I know people that they are not with their ladies today just because of those checks they take from the man.
And so you personally believe that's has something to do with the black community.
No, I do no, it do with a lot of communities, but when we talk specifically of a community like this, right, we're looking at the percentages. It becomes dangerous when a very huge population within a certain community is using that system. That's when it becomes dangerous. Like I always tell my African brothers back in Africa is this. One thing the white man is very good at is they will they will create something that is a socially engineered attack and present it to you that looks really good. You take it, you implement it in your society because we are so good at adapting something that they show to us, and then we overuse it and it destroys our societies. That's one of one of my biggest angles that I write a lot of articles about, and it has nothing to do with alcohol. This is astute observation that I needed the black community to hear. It's very dangerous. They are not creating this system with the intention that it should work like that. But because of the small chance that it might be detrimental to our society, when they put it out there, we take it and then we use it for the wrong reasons. I've not just seen this happen in America. I've seen it happen in Haiti. I've seen this happen in Nigeria, in Uganda, in every black community. So we need to be very careful with the system we adopt from the Western world. One of the biggest systems we adopted from the Western world that's destroying Africa right now is religion. Is religion bad? It's not bad. It's great. But what it's doing across the African continent is terrible. They took it too far. That's what I've been trying to explain to you. You've not been listening because
what does that have to do with child support?
No, it's another system that you see you haven't been listening again. It's another system that I'm stating as an example, right? It's another system that I'm stating as an example. But yeah, I would like our black community, especially men that are paying child support to ladies, to step up here and let us know exactly what they think. Because Ben thinks everything I just said today is a rant based on alcohol, which is very disrespectful. I would never say that about him.
No, I think that it's not based in fact. No, that's what I think. And we have evidence, and we do have.
So you have evidence that black women don't kick black men out because they want to get those checks from the black man?
I don't even know how to begin addressing that. Okay. Yes, all right. It's time to wrap things up. As usual, thanks all for tuning in. We got into some deep subjects here, and so we're only able to get through a couple of the questions. So for those additional questions that were asked in the fire round, we'll look forward to jumping into those on the next episode. So as usual, cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you for the conversation, sir.
Yeah.